Here we go now. A case of beer, some barbecue. There's no doubt that I'm better than you.
Check, check.
With these looks and these moves, you can't blame me for being so rude. The land of the red, white, and blue will be my home till the day I die. I'm every lady's fantasy. I'm the American guy.
Happy Friday, my friends and neighbors. Welcome to the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. It is great to have you here today. My name is Grant Pachoco, and you are tuned in to the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. This is episode number 72 for December 10th, 2021. The Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, the podcast that cannot wait for the mail to arrive with my holiday releases. They haven't been sent yet, but I'm very excited for them to get there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is great to have you all here. I hope you've had an incredible week. I hope you've had a week that was a little bit better than mine. I'll tell you this, and I don't want to get into stuff, but the worst part about show business is the business part. The business part is the worst, so that's pretty much how my week has gone. But you know what? I'm going to forget all that because I am here. I am here to talk about Filsinger Games stuff, and, you know, there was an interesting thread on the Filsinger Games message board about video games, and I don't really play video games. You know what I play? I play Filsinger Games stuff, and so that's why I'm excited to be here and talking about the Filsinger Games world. Before we begin, I do want to give a special shout out to all the Patreon patrons who help make this show possible. They are awesome. They support me in every way. They make a monthly donation for as little as $1 a month, and it truly does help. It helps with bandwidth. It helps with streaming stuff, and it's just really, really awesome. So I want to thank everybody who are our patrons, and I want to thank our patron producers, Dorothy Pachoco, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, David Akers, and Vicky Sebring. All right, we have a bunch of news, a ton of news, a plethora of news, so we are going to get to it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start in the realm of Champions of the Galaxy. This week at the Filsinger Games website was Prime Week. They were talking Prime. These are the Promoter Prime, the 3 different Promoter Prime subscription sort of services you can sign up for. And we are going to start with Champions of the Galaxy Prime. And I have a little error on the slide there. I forgot to change it at the last minute. These characters that I'm going to be talking about, just if you're watching live on YouTube, and really, why aren't you watching live on YouTube? These are not for FTR3. These are for Kronos. So that is my mistake. That is a holdover from last week. But COTG Prime focuses on Kronos. The war intensifies in an alternate universe. Commander Sam and Stars and Stripes catch wind of an intense battle taking place on Kronos and storm the crossroads of the galaxy looking for a fight. So we have Commander Sam, U.S. Air, and American made. Now, I heard on the Uncharted Territory podcast, I believe it was Corey threw out the challenge that I needed to rewrite the American Guy song for American Made, but let me tell you, my days of songwriting are pretty much long behind me. But anyway, these 3 are coming to your Kronos Fed, and you will be able to get them as part of the Q4 Champions of the Galaxy Prime releases. Moving on to indie wrestling, and the announcement was Tasha Steelz, and Tasha Steelz, I believe, is on Impact. I don't know much about her, but she had a great run in ROH, and she counts ROH, and I believe she is on Impact. So Tasha Steelz is coming to Indies Prime 2021 Q4, the first name released for that. Again, I apologize. I do not know much about her, but I know a lot of people are very, very excited that she is in the game. Moving on to Legends, and the announcement just a few moments ago is that PG-13 are coming to to Legends Prime 2021 Quarter 4, sort of fitting in with the Memphis team. The rapping duo of JC Ice and Wolfie D was the most dominant tag team in the waning days of the Memphis territory, when JC Ice turned on his father, Bill Dundee, and joined forces with Wolfie D. PG-13 was born. Their street-style wrestling abilities combined with the speed and finesse led them to wear the tag team titles a total of 16 times, more than any other teams during the 90s, and it's not even close. The rule-breaking, over-the-top antics of the tandem earned them the crowd's ire. They had little trouble utilizing their prized hubcaps to spark feuds, beat down opponents, and win matches. So there you go. PG-13 announced, and I saw in the chat, Mark Ferguson announced, does PG-13 count as 1 card or 2 cards? It's going to be 2 cards, I would assume, in Legends Prime. So that means tag teams are usually 2 cards. We had Greg the Hammer Valentine and Bruce Beefcake in Quarter 1. So these 2 will be Quarter 2. And so that means we've got 1 name left for Promoter Prime, and we have 2 names left, I believe, for the Legends Memphis set. That might be wrong in that math, but that's what I am saying. All right, moving on to news about the Ringside Companion 2021. I will start this off by saying, spoiler alert for Uncharted Territory. If you have not listened to the latest episode of Uncharted Territory, I'm going to drop a few spoilers here. So you'll want to plug your ears if you're listening live, or skip ahead a little bit. But here's the thing. Apparently, the Ringside Companion that we will be getting for that we pre-ordered was so big, was so gigantic, that we are getting special matches in this one, and probably the bulk of the special matches. But then coming in 2022, there will be a second volume of the Ringside Companion, and that volume will include the different versions of the Into the Ropes, Turnbuckle, Death Jump, and Out of the Ring charts. So that's coming in 2022. We're getting the first Ringside Companion in just a few weeks, and we're already looking forward to the next one in 2022. And they did announce, again, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear this, I know you're all going to go listen to Uncharted Territory, because you all do. But if you don't want to hear this, plug your ears right now. They announced, although this isn't that big of a surprise, that one of the new matches in the 2021 Ringside Companion that is coming later this month will be a scaffold match. So perfect to fit into the Memphis theme. You better believe I will be running a scaffold match once I get the Ringside Companion. For all the latest news and information, you want to head on over to FilsingerGames.com. That's where you can get it. And if you don't have your pre-orders in, I don't know. I can't help you. I can't help you. If you don't have your pre-orders in, I can't help you. Hey, moving on to the match of the show. Last week, we had Anarchy with a big win over Omega. I asked you who the newly crowned champion of Omega should face, and you gave me some great choices. The choices were Bruiser Brody, RVD, Rob Van Dam, and Switchblade. Those were the ones that you wanted me to pick from. I put them in a randomizer. I randomized them all up. And ladies and gentlemen, Anarchy's very first defense will be against none other than Rob Van Dam. That is right, Rob Van Dam is going for the podcast grand championship. I decided to use the Legends color version of Rob Van Dam. All right, let's roll for some initiative, and let's ring the bell. And it looks like Anarchy is going to start things off. I think there's a high probability of disqualification in this match. Anarchy starts by whipping Rob Van Dam into the turnbuckle, and he's crushed by a big kick. Anarchy responds with a knee to the back of the head. It's an agility move. Rob Van Dam has the agility, so he's going to roll on level 2 offense, and he is going to toss Anarchy into the ropes. And Anarchy actually comes off with a powerful flying shoulder tackle and will roll on level 2 offense and hits a flying gutbuster. I believe that's what he beat Omega with. And Rob Van Dam is hurt. He is down. Anarchy rolls the crucifix drop, a +3. He's got to roll DQ4 here. Let's see if he's going to be DQ'd. He rolls 2 dice, and he is disqualified with the crucifix drop. Anarchy is disqualified. He retains the title, but Rob Van Dam will be the victor. So now it's up to you, fans. Sometimes the matches are short like this. Who do you think, what kind of match, of course, RVD is going to get a rematch. What sort of match should RVD have as the rematch against Anarchy? Let me know in the comments, and we'll roll that out next week. Yeah, there you go. Short and sweet. Anarchy retains, but Rob Van Dam gets the victory. Moving on to the question of the show. The question of the show was last week. I love this. This question inspired so much great conversation, and I can't wait to go through it with you here. What is the perfect roster size for a Fed? That's what I asked you last week, and we had so many great responses. Doug Fletcher says, I've used as little as 16, 8 singles, 4 tags, and as much as 50. I think it depends on what I'm playing. Legends, Indies, Champions of the Galaxy, or Go Fight Pow, and what I'm feeling. But I do tend to stick with smaller roster sizes, 16 to 24. Absolutely love that, Doug. Thank you for commenting. Carl Zilla says, I think the perfect size is somewhere between 12 to 16 full-time wrestlers filled out by a revolving door of temporary workers. That way there's turnover and new match possibilities due to the rotating temporary workers, but you can actually focus on building your core roster. I love this. And Doug and Carl, I think I'm kind of doing this with my Memphis Fed that I just started up, and I'll be talking about here in a second. MS Charver 2 says, I go with 14 to 16 singles and 4 tag teams, so 22-24 on my roster at all times with a pretty consistent rotation of talent in and out. You can always go lower, but never higher than that. Dave Little, who I believe is in the chat watching along here, says, I usually run 20 to 24 singles and 10 to 12 tag teams. 1 main champion, 1 secondary champion, and the tag team champions. Enough to have a series of matches each cycle, a couple of the feature feuds, and wrestlers left over in the main event, in the event of injuries or suspensions. I'm really looking forward to Jeddah to reunite with Lacey and Rain for the International Home Wrecking Crew in the early days of Shimmer. Dave talking about the Indies announcements we talked about last episode. Thank you, Dave. And if you're not watching Dave's Heartland Championship Wrestling, again, what can I even do? Michael Brada says, I use Vern Gagne's Grade 8 model from the AWA when developing a roster. Pick 4 top faces, 4 top heels, then cycle in and out other wrestlers to challenge them. Absolutely fantastic idea. I love that. I love that they each get to have wrestlers cycled in and out instead of just always facing each other. Jared B says, roster size seems dependent on how many shows you are running in a calendar year, and then how many matches are on said show. So if you want a big show feel and run weekly as opposed to in the monthly feel, that's what would mostly dictate your roster size. Couldn't agree more, Jared. Joe M says a roster of 25 to 30 for each Fed seems to work best. For each title, I have to have 5 solid contenders set and then a few extras to round out the card. World champ and 5 contenders, a secondary champion and 5 contenders, tag team champions and 5 other teams. Gives me 24 plus a few others who aren't necessarily in the hunt for a championship. Jobbers, new talent to the roster needing to prove themselves, and more interested in a current feud than winning titles. Thank you, Joe. Steve Williams says, I tend to build Feds based upon title contenders, the title contenders equation I started using to manage my Black and White Legends Fed. Traditionally, I have a world title, tag titles, and secondary title, U.S. Intercontinental Regional, and either a cruiserweight or TV title in each of my Feds. I try to have 6 wrestlers, tag teams, a varying degree of talent focused on each title. Consequently, the magic number for me is 3 single titles times 6 wrestlers each. That's 18 wrestlers, plus 6 tag teams, 12 wrestlers, plus 6 jobbers, low-end performers equals 36 wrestlers. I love it. This is what I love about this fan base. It's Where else do you get thought like this for a game? Michael says, I feel like I'm the only promoter that runs month to month. January is January. No set amount of cards. At the end of the year, December, the year is over. I do have my champs defend their titles once a month minimum. I do my year-end awards, etc. at the end of December. No roster limit, but I have them set up pretty evenly, like around 35 to 40 each Fed. I love that idea too of running. I would love to know if other people out there run month to month. Like this is all the months, all the cards you play in January, those happen in January. All the cards you play in February, those happen in February. Would love to know. Scotty Boy 9999 wraps us up by saying, I agree with the other commenter about the amount of shows ran in a calendar year is a factor for roster size. If you're only running, say, 12 shows, then maybe a roster size of 16 to 20, so everyone gets featured for enough matches. I run 48 for 4 a month. I'd say around 50 guys is okay. Tough really to say for certain, though. If you have the time and ideas for everybody, the sky's the limit, I guess. Thank you to everybody who answered the question of the show. I really appreciate it. I have a new question of the show. Everyone in the chat is commenting Steve's math skills. So, Steve, congratulations. Yeah, you're definitely better at math than me. So here's the question of the show. I'm thinking, if I'm doing the math right, we have 2 unannounced Legends cards. Assuming, and I have seen no indication on this, that I may have missed a post on the boards, but assuming that one of the unannounced Legends cards is a new signing, who do you think it'll be? So who do you think, if there are any unannounced new signings for the new Legends set, who do you think they would be? Leave them in the comments and we will go over them next show. Well, as we wrap up here, I want to tell you elsewhere on the channel, I did play out my first card for the Memphis project, and it was headlined by Handsome Jimmy Valiant versus Steve Regal, and it was a fun card to play out, and it was my first one, so we're just laying the foundation. This is the Fed that I'm playing, that I want to document every single thing that I do in this Fed, and you are coming along for the ride. So that video is up on the channel. I hope to have more videos next week now that I'm off this. We've wrapped on Mystery Science Theater 3000. I will have more time to make more content just for you. You can check out all my videos over at youtube.com/GWF promoter. And while you're checking things out, while you're in the business of checking things out, be sure to check out our friends of the show. That's Uncharted Territory with the Legends crew. The After Further Review, amazing plethora of content from Steve Tower over on his YouTube channel. Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling, Roll Up, the official Filsinger Games podcast. The Dizzy Dice podcast with Lee, BROC's Twitch channel, which is just absolutely awesome. I love tuning into that. And seeing what BROC is playing. It's a nice Sunday evening activity, I believe. So links to all of these will be in the show notes so you can check them out. And I would like to invite you once again to join the Filsinger Games Fan Discord. When I posted this question about roster size, it inspired a fantastic conversation over on the Discord channel. So if you want to get involved, head on over there. You can go to bit.ly, that's bit.ly/FGF Discord. bit.ly/FGF Discord, and that is all you need to join the show. Hey, did you know that there is an audio version of this show? Oh, yes, there is, and it's available anywhere you get your podcast. Just search for Filsinger Games, and it should pop right up. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, and follow GWF Promoter on social media at GWF Promoter. You can check out my personal feds at gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Filsinger Games or its subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. And this episode is copyright 2021 Saturday Morning Media. I want to send out a special shout out to all the people who were watching in the chat as we were doing this live: Christopher Merriman, Mark Ferguson, Thomas Morgan, Dave Little, Frank Wainscott, Vexed FE, Salvador America. Derek Bauman was here. And there you go. I think I got everyone. And if you didn't chat, then I missed you. But you know what? I didn't miss you in my heart. I hope you guys have a great week. I will be back next Friday to talk more stuff. And I will see you then. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Goodbye.